Welcome again to another electrical project. Today we will be building a voltage divider circuit. So we have here a small breadboard. We have a pliers that we'll use to strip wires, to bend the desired shape the legs of the semiconductor. Here we have the 1.2 kilo ohms resistor, color code brown, red, red, gold. We also have the 4.7 kilo ohms resistor. We will also need a variable resistor. Another name for it is a potentiometer. Next we have the conductors or conductor path, the connections that we'll use from one component to the next. Almost forgot that we needed a switch. Alright, so I went and I grabbed one of the bedside lamps, or night lights, sorry, and removed the switch from it. Took me a few minutes to take it apart. Here you see it's a series connection from source to load to switch back to source. Finally, we have the switch. So now we are ready. Now starting from an empty breadboard, we have the two input connections. So I'll affix them to the circuit board. So there goes my input to the circuit. Now we are going to make the connection from the input to the switch. I went ahead and connected the two wires to the switch terminals. And now I'm going to make the connection from the input terminals to the switch. I'm connecting one end of the switch to the input terminal, and then I'll just randomly place the other end of the switch until I'm ready to use it. To connect the other end of the input terminal, the conductor part that goes to R2. Now it's time to connect the 1.2 kilo ohms resistor from one end of the switch and then the other one will go to R2. After connecting R2 to R1, we're just going to place the other end of R2 at a random location close to the input terminal on that side. Now it's time for the load resistor, the potentiometer, the variable resistor. I'm just going to place it on the edge of the board, and as you see here, the legs alternate holes. Now I'm going to connect one end of the variable resistor to the intersection of resistor 1 and 2. So all three of them should be connected at that point. Now I'm going to connect the other two ends of the potentiometer. According to the schematic diagram, the other two remaining legs must be connected before going to the connection between R2 and the negative end of the input terminal. So I'm going to connect both of them right here. Now that I've connected both of them, I'll now take the extra lead and connect it to R2. Now I can relocate this end of the negative input terminal to the connection between the variable resistor and resistor 2. And there you have it. I've just relocated them just to give a little bit more space so you can see clearly. So here we have the negative input terminal to the connection between R2 and the variable resistor. We have the positive input terminal that goes to the switch, then to R1. And R1 to R2, which is a connection between R1, R2 and the load resistor. And there we have the load resistor. Now if the legs of your variable resistor are not able to fit in the holes of the breadboard, you can make connections to the legs before you make the connection to the breadboard. So you get extra pieces of wire. This one I stripped it very long so I can connect it to both holes, since those two are supposed to be connected as indicated by the schematic diagram. Then I'll connect another piece of wire to the available leg. So now I'll connect the single side to the terminal or the wire that is coming from the junction between R1 and R2. And then I'll connect the combined side to the conductor that is coming from the intersection of the negative input terminal and R2. And there you have it again. So if yours isn't able to fit in the holes of the breadboard, you can do it like this. Now for a recap, we have the input that goes to the switch, negative input to R2. We have the positive input to the switch, like I said, through R1 and goes to the load resistor, and then from the negative side to the other side of the load resistor. And there you have it, a voltage divider circuit.